Chapter 2 of Welcome to the Philippines. The love of your life. How do you find the perfect person? How do you avoid the scams? How do you potentially find that person that matches you? Before you go to the Philippines, no doubt you've already been looking through online dating. My personal view, if somebody's opening line is age, sex, height, etc., then I have no interest in speaking to them. Because most websites already have a profile. Doing that just tells me they've been sat in chat windows all day and aren't even bothering viewing people. They are simply looking for an opportunity to scam. Anybody in their right mind and with a serious relationship will study every detail they can get out of a profile. The same goes for anybody asking you for money straight away. Shouldn't happen. These people are not your problem. They were there before you arrived, and they'll be there long after you've gone. They are simply scamming for cash. They found it an easier way to make money than actually getting a job. It becomes their job, should we say. You hear about the sick aunt, the sick child, the death, whatever it is. They've got a long list of potential reasons to need money. Filipinos do not ask for money. Good Filipinos do not ever ask for money. There is a divide between yourself and themselves with their family. Any problem that is within the family is a family issue. It is not your problem. Even when you're married, you may find that there's many things that are hidden from you purely because it's seen as a family issue and not your problem. The issues are dealt with internally. So if somebody asks you for money, firstly, they're either scamming. Firstly, they could be scamming. Secondly, they're from a low-level family with no morals or ethics or even basic etiquette. They're just not worth bothering with. What would my ratio of good to bad women be on something like a dating website? I would probably say you're going to find one good person in 100, and that's if you're lucky. Many people may be good people, but you're filtering through a large quantity of people very rapidly. The best people, though, often aren't even on dating sites. My wife, for example, was only on a dating site herself because her workmates were doing it as a joke, because they had had some crap relationships in the Philippines. So while they were sat at work one afternoon, they all signed up on a dating site, and I randomly come across April's picture while fixing a friend's profile over a weekend, because he'd complained he'd spent some money on a website and he'd been a member for over a month, and he had had no interest from anybody. But then again, the first thing I read on his profile, his name was Good Size, and it pretty much went on from there. You can guess why I was rewriting his entire profile. Well, it was a Friday, Saturday afternoon as well, so we had nothing else to do. Still waiting for the bars and clubs to open so that we could actually have a night out. So I sat and did his profile, and one of the pictures that appeared around the profile editor was my now wife April. So my personal view on online dating, it can work. Mine was rather random, but we were both on there. I wasn't actually a subscriber, a friend was. But the point is, there is a opportunity to link up with each other. I would, however, recommend meeting people from people that are already in the Philippines. Most people already have a network of friends that are looking for partners. There is always people approaching me, for example. I must know at least 30 to 40 women that are saying, Matt, find me a husband. All varying in age, but generally above the 30 age bracket. Mainly from my own social grouping. But the advantage of somebody like myself is I'm more likely to screen you than screen her. The reason being, I already know her background. I already know where she lives, and she would not do anything to upset myself or the family, because we're part of the same community. Anything that she does reflects badly on her own family, and it gets down to the fact that people have shame in the Philippines. But also don't assume that all people on the Philippines are uneducated. This is where a lot of people go wrong. I was recently talking to somebody that's got a relative that's 38, and she's a doctor in the Philippines. I know many women in the Philippines that are 30s upwards that are very well educated. They vary from being a social worker to being involved in journalism. There is all sorts of stuff they get up to, and they are very competent and self-reliant. These are people that you will struggle to find online on online dating. In fact, you may not even see them because they've never registered. These people work for a living, so they're not available for chat for 8 hours of the day. They're not available for 1 hour a day sometimes. Maybe on a Sunday afternoon they're online to talk to friends and family overseas. So these people are the people you should be looking for. They're much better quality as a person, they're better educated, so you've got more in common, and they're self-sufficient and self-reliant. They are true people, they're genuine. They're not looking for foreigners for money. They're looking for companionship. They're looking for somebody to spend the rest of their life with. These people are the people I highly recommend people spend their time and effort trying to locate. You will have to spend a lot more time inside the Philippines in locating some of these people. You may have a brother that's married to somebody in the Philippines that can do most of the legwork for you. You may have a friend on the forum that you've chatted with for the last 3-4 months, and they have a niece that is available and looking for a foreign husband. There's always ways to find good people. I always take an interest in people's personal abilities rather than financial. For example, April loves cooking, but also she's very educated and has an engineering degree, but her communication skills and language abilities and general interests mean that we're very compatible. We actually have a lot of the same interests and hobbies. Those are the things you should be looking at, not the fact that she's beautiful. Beauty tires in a few months when you have no communication skill. Beauty tires when she sits there in the corner texting her friends all day because you've got nothing to do or talk about. Beauty tires when she can't cook, can't clean, and used to not doing a lot around the house. This is why a lot of people become unhappy in a short period of time when dating younger women. When I say younger, I'm talking younger than 23, because they're not developed enough mentally in many cases. They're often the baby of the family, often pampered and looked after in comparison to their older siblings. They may find that their life can be a little bit harder sometimes. So be aware of these things. And the reason that they get pampered is their older siblings often fund them, be it education, be it giving them some money to go out with their friends, whatever it is. They find that they have already got people above them in the family tree that are taking care of them. As such, they can become lazy. This is why it's much better to seek out people that actually work for a living, because they are smarter to the world. And if they're a little bit older, in their 30s, for example, they're also wiser to the world in the ways of relationships. They've normally already had a relationship, a serious one, and it's gone sour for whatever reason. That's why they begin looking for foreign husbands, because they've grown tired of local guys. And I'm not going to get political about cheating, drinking, gambling, etc., but you get the picture. So looking for the right partner begins before you even go to the Philippines. You start communicating on some of these websites. You start communicating through the dating websites, the forums, the even on these YouTube channels, because in the YouTube channels you can find some interesting characters in the comments. Some of them are educated women, some of them are smart women, but whatever it is, you can see from their mannerisms of writing indirectly the type of person they are. And this is the important bits. This is how you sit there and analyze people, and you can get a bigger picture of somebody and a better understanding of them. Becoming friends on Facebook, for example, you can get a background on each other and understand each other. You also have to understand you've got to bring something to the table. Most women want security more than anything else, not just financial, but relationship-wise. Several expats I know have fell foul because they've cheated on their wives. One of the biggest problems these guys have had is they met the love of their life the first minute they've arrived in the Philippines, got married, and 6 months to a year later, they've started experimenting with all those women that give them the eye along the street. This is not a good move for an expat. It's often not a good move for a Filipino. But for an expat, if you bought your house and it's in your wife's name, you can kiss goodbye to that house. You can also kiss goodbye to your residency and everything else that goes with it, because it's all reliant on your wife. My advice on this, if you're not going to get married, don't get married. You know, when I say get married, I mean take it as gospel truth, factual, as a religious and contractual basis that marriage is marriage. It is not the West. You don't have to get married if you don't want to. It's not the West where it seems more of a token gesture. In the Philippines, it's still seen as quite important. Although sometimes it's a bit hypocritical. The partner you're likely to meet is unlikely to see it that way. So although people like Irap have had like multiple mistresses, even living next door to each other, he was the former president of the Philippines. You're just an expat in a foreign country. I hope this information helps you find the right person. I would say start with that, and then we'll talk about how to avoid the pitfalls. Thanks for listening.